There exists a correlation between the thoughts that you're producing and projecting and the foods and beverages that you're consuming. For example, if you are finding yourself in a low vibrational state of surrender or perhaps depression, loneliness, sadness, contemplating suicide, you know, you'll find that there are support systems that will resonate in frequency with these energies that you're projecting on a dominant level. And they arrive in the form of junk food and people that will gravitate to you that align with those frequencies, toxic people. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't good people that aren't going to try to pull you out of these things, because of course there are. They're going to try to motivate you and encourage you to, see the brighter side of life, see the silver lining and things, all of these things. And that's a beautiful thing, obviously. But the point of this video is that you'll find yourself using these things as a coping mechanism or a coping device to try to deal with things that you are unconsciously refusing to deal with on a face-to-face level, because you've probably at some point in your past learned to patternize these things, to make them like cyclical. This is like a default for you. So if something happens to you, you don't express yourself, you don't release the energies, so therefore they become internalized and repressed or suppressed. And then that builds up, because every energy must be expressed to its fullest potential in physical. It must be realized. It can't be suppressed. The whole nature of energy is to be expressed and allow it to reach its, full potential, whatever that is. That's why you should never hold your tongue in conversation. You should always speak your truth and never sacrifice your feelings just to save somebody else's. It isn't fair to you. Never accommodate someone else, and you're inconveniencing yourself. That's not good. But the premise of this video is to make you aware of the fact that if you find yourself gravitating to junk foods and junk beverages and low vibrational people, that's because you're an equivalent to these things. So they support that state of being that you're generating unnecessarily. It's an atmosphere and an environment that is conducive to complementing each other. In other words, if you want to go to a place where they're all racist and bigots and hateful, you'll find that. They've got tons of organizations like that across the country, across the world. And everybody's thinking the same. Your ideology, your philosophy, your outlook on life, everybody's the same. So it's all, that confirms for you what you're thinking and believing and feeling is true, because you've got other people to tell you, oh yeah, you're right. There's nothing wrong with the way you think, because I think the same way too. And there's no difference when you find yourself in a low vibrational state and that junk food's right there, because it's ready to support that low vibrational field and keep you there. That's why they poison junk food, because they know full well that the system that they're creating is low vibrational, that at some point you will become depressed. So it's a trap. And then you become morbidly obese, and the heavier you get, the more depressed you get. And, it's a spiral, down and down you go. Trust me, I've been there before. I am speaking from experience. So there's always a way out. You have to understand, the entrance is the exit. And the exit is the entrance. It depends on how you choose to see it. There's always a way out. You're not trapped. You're just doing it to yourself. You have to learn how to not cope with things, but not allow them to affect you adversely to such a degree that it just destroys the everything of your life and just decimates your reality, and your joy and your happiness and your laughter and your peace just goes right out the window. It becomes obliterated. You can't be sensitive in this world to the outside world. I did a video once that you have to learn how to turn your feelings and emotions on when you feel that they're needed, or for people that you feel that are worthy of them, and learn to shut them off when they're not, in situations that are not calling for feelings and emotions, but logic, prudence, and pragmatism. Like a courtroom, a corporate building, and most people don't deserve your feelings and emotions. And they most certainly don't deserve to gain access into your heart. So you have to learn to teach yourself to start building a deflector screen or walk around with a suit of armor, because you have to, especially nowadays with the way people are, the way they're just so desensitized and insensitive and uncaring and just callous and crass, arrogant and rude, very boisterous. They blurt, God, you're fat. Look how stupid you are. You're dumb. You're ugly. Just right out of their face. Of course, this is going to hurt your feelings. And then you're going to revert to that coping mechanism of eating junk food, and the whole cycle continues, and drinking garbage and just ingesting all of these things that are just self-abuse. That's really what it comes down to. And you deserve better than that. That's the whole point of my channel, to let you know that you are better and you deserve better. You just have to realize that and recognize that for yourself. I can't do that for you. Hopefully these videos are getting you to realize that for yourself. I don't ever try to tell somebody you should do this or you should do that. That's not the premise of this channel. The premise of this channel is to get you to do that for yourself, because nobody can awaken you from your sleepless slumber, my friend. Your dormancy, your state of suspended animation that you're locked in right now, emotional paralysis, your mental prison, your metaphysical incarceration that you've trapped your soul in like a cage. It's just that simple. So just to let you know that everything is always all right as long as you don't feed the illusions of these things being real. That's how they fool you. They scare you with these big things. Whoa, big walls of fire and explosions and smoke and all this craziness. That's a game. If you don't believe me, look at the last 10 minutes of The Wizard of Oz. They're telling you right there. Exactly. We only control you with fear. You're the ones that have the power. So this channel that I have, just to let you know, isn't just about, manifesting, objects and items. It goes way beyond that. You can manifest a different you if you want. Energy is energy. It doesn't have to come in the form of cars and jewelry and big houses. That's the bottom line of it. That's the low-level stuff. It's really all about you transmuting yourself from your former identity, your past identity, your false identity into who you really are. That's really what it is. So that's the premise of this video, to let you know that they use junk food in mainstream to keep people morbidly obese, because when you're overweight, you're too tired. And when you're too tired, you can't go out and be proactive and protest and create a revolution, insurrection, and sedition. They don't want that. That's why fast food is cheap, easy, and readily available. That's why you get 5 burgers for $1. Go into a health food store. You need a co-signer to go in there. Glass of carrot juice is like $14. It's crazy. It's that way by design. So just to let you know, to bring you solace, that whatever it is that is causing this pain and suffering, there's always a way out. You just have to stop doing what you're doing that keeps you there. However you feel that you can, formulate that system that allows you to do that, I can't help you with that. First thing you have to stop doing is stop feeling sorry for yourself. The world isn't against you. Stop having a victim mentality. Stop continuously following the same patterns of thoughts. Like everybody is, out to get you, poor me, poor me. I don't know your situation, but it can easily be rectified for the most part. Now I'm not saying that if somebody lost a child or something like that, this is not a video for folks like that. Absolutely not. Because that's the worst pain on earth. Absolutely. The only time that you're going to have closure is when you're with your child. Again, when you leave this earth. But until that time, God bless those parents who lose children and they still have the courage to remain on earth. God bless them. They're the strongest to me, that's for sure. This video is not about that. Or if you've lost a loved one. I'm not talking about that. This video is about the subject of you being affected emotionally by all of the detritus out there in society, the ridicule, the bullying, all the garbage, man. Schools are legalized rape centers for the innocence of your soul and the purity of your inner child. That's just the truth. That's legalized rape right there, man. Those indoctrination camps are horrible. I've never been into a school as a kid where it had a good vibration. I've never been into a church where it has a good vibration. I've never been into a hospital where it has a good vibration. Why? Because they're all a part of the same network, the same hub. It's all an evil core. So it's not going to have a high vibe, and all of these kids, they're just byproducts of their environment and the families that they come from their parents who are, ignorant and, just rude and obnoxious, and blurt and negative and angry and dysfunctional themselves. So they pass that on to the kids. The cycle of violence continues. And of course, those kids are going to go to the school and there you are. And they're going to take all of that out on you because negativity is not a static energy. It is a kinetic energy that demands transfer. So in closing, I just want to leave you with this. It doesn't have to be that way. Laughter isn't the best medicine, my friend. Sometimes you can't laugh these things away. They have to be addressed. This is the universe calling to you to say you have to address these things. Because if you're being brokenhearted and such and so forth, there's a reason for this, that you're not addressing it. You've allowed the abuse And now you're continuing to feed the elements of the energies that comprise that abuse and lock it down inside you and pretend like everything's okay. But eventually, that energy is going to well up and boom, explode. And then you can't contain it anymore at that point. And then you have a mess on your hands, man. That's when people have nervous breakdowns and all kinds of stuff because they just deliberately failed to address the things that were freaking weighing them down. So it's always going to be okay as long as you know it is. Just don't feed the illusions of fear and panic and paranoia and sorrow and misery and suffering. Suffering is a wasted emotion. Worrying is an absolute waste of time. It is. Suffering is voluntary. Worrying is a wasted emotion. Problems are illusions. And that's what this is. So once you realize that, you'll start fortifying yourself to not allow these things to happen to you anymore. The reason why somebody can hurt you, and I'm going to tell you straight, it's real simple. Because you, my friend, have surrendered your energy to these people and given them something they don't deserve. And that is your power. That is your control. That is your energy. That is the essence of your everything. You just gave it to strangers and say, here, like me, love me, validate my acceptance, validate my existence, accept me, please embrace me. I hope I can win your popularity contest. Forget that. That's a waste of time. People are a waste of time. That's the big culprit why you find yourself in situations that you're hypersensitive to negativity. Trust me when I tell you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. I don't need to be. Those people are all crazy nut jobs telling you what to do, and they don't even have their lives together. How many of them are pedophiles and sociopaths? You're telling a complete stranger your issues, and you're paying them like $500 an hour. These people are so desensitized that that's all they listen to all day long. Nobody can give you advice about yourself. Only you can teach yourself these things. So in closing, just start today. Start today to make a different way for yourself, that it isn't this way anymore. That you don't follow these patterns and cycles and routines and habits that keep bringing you back to the same dead-end space. Because you're always going to find yourself there because you put yourself there. It doesn't have to be like that. Just be tender with yourself. The way you treat others, you should treat yourself. You'd be surprised. The level of self-abuse that you induce on yourself, you'd never tolerate from a stranger. Think about that for a minute. And I wish you the very best. And I hope on some level this video did make you aware of aspects and elements of your energies inside you that you need to awaken. Self-healing is an amazing journey. It's a journey from self-healing to self-love. And then, as a matter of fact, that's going to be a multi-part series I'm going to be coming up with. Man, if you don't have self-love, you have nothing. Because if you don't love yourself, what do you have and who are you? You ask yourself that, honestly. Peace.